This is a bit awesome. Okay, so I guess now we have to do this is the perfect shot.
Rolling.
I'm here at George Mason University. To the untrained eye, this would seem like an otherwise regular, everyday, normal school. However, there's a darker history and secret resting on this campus. The history and the secret of Squatch Man. But just what exactly is Squatch Man? Squatch Man. For centuries he was a recognized staple of the wilderness of Fairfax. Stories from the Doeg tribe described a fearsome protector, a vicious giant that inhabited the woods and hills. In their tongue, he was the hairy protector, and if he liked you, your tribe received protection. But if he didn't, expect famine, disease, and the destruction of livestock and even infanticide. After several centuries of appearances in the Fairfax area, Squatch Man would become a creature of legend. However, this persona would come to a halt after the 70s incident, where in 1973 several students on the George Mason campus began to go missing out in the nearby woods. At first, people suspected a serial killer to be on the loose, but the horrifying truth was revealed after one student's discovery of large, inhuman footprints near the crime scene, alongside a blood-soaked letter in the same handwriting of one of the missing students, reading, "It's a f***ing squash." As word began to break out around campus, the university did as much as it could to kill the noise buzzing around Squatch Man. Some say it was to avoid local panic and to hide any dangers that would deter people from applying to the school. Others say the government itself told GMU to keep its mouth shut. There are even theories that the upper echelons of the school worship Squatch Man as a higher alien power and do not want his existence disclosed. Regardless, GMU has spent years putting Squatch Man's name in the ground, to the point that almost no one in Fairfax even recognizes the name anymore. So I'm here today to meet with not only an expert in Squatch Man, but the descendant of a man who may have seen the thing firsthand. With me for this journey is his great-granddaughter, Bara Ashton.
My name is Bara Ashton. Ever since I was a kid, my father would always tell me stories about the Squatch Man before going to bed. My great-grandfather went out into the woods looking for Squatch Man, and he came back pale as a ghost. And he never said anything about him except for that girl. There's definitely a squash out there. And if I had to take a guess at what the Squatch Man looked like, it'd be this.
The face of absolute terror. After the interview, Bara and I sat down to look over some of the evidence she'd compiled during her search for the Squatch Man on the George Mason campus.
This is the photo of the George Mason campus, which I believe to have evidence of the Squatch Man. If you zoom in closely...
Oh,
there he is.
That's it. Okay, can you pull up the photo real quick when you do a comparison? With our newfound confirmation of Squatch Man's location, we headed into the woods and began laying meat to lure him in with. That, and some trail mix just in case he has a sweet tooth.
Urinate on the meats, so you know it's like I'm claiming this is my territory. It makes the Squatch Man more aggressive. Trust me, it's gonna draw him in.
After we finished laying out our traps, we finally sat waiting for the Squatch Man's arrival.
Oh my god, it's a Squatch Man. Nobody move a muscle.
Hey guys, I'm back from my piss and holy is that Squatch Man?
Yeah.
Oh get around!
With our cameraman eaten alive and a heated email sent to us by GMU issuing a cease and desist, we had no choice but to leave campus grounds. Although we couldn't further our investigation into the Squatch Man, we'd found enough in our time at George Mason to know that the Squatch Man is more fact than fiction. The future for finding Squatch Man is now a brighter one, even with George Mason still attempting a cover-up. What will time bring for the Squatch? That is yet to come, but for now we know it is coming.